Radhe Radhe, Dandavat Pranam. Welcome to Shri Shri Radha Vinod Bihari Mandir, Shri Vrindavan Dham. Srila Gurudev ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Rupanuga Gauriya Guru Varga ki jai, Patik Pavan Shri Nityananda Prabhu ki jai, Prem Purushottam Sachinandana Gaura Hari ki jai, Radha Vinod Bihari Ju ki jai, Radha Ramana Ju ki jai, Giriraj Mahārāja ki jai, Harinama Sankirtana ki jai, Hare Krishna Maha Mantra ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Shri Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Also today is the official first day of Shri Navadvip Mandal Parikrama. Shri Navadvip Mandal Parikrama ki jai.
By the way, she's not on yet, but it's Keshava Priya's birthday today, so we can't forget.
Happy birthday, Keshava Priya Didi.
She's not there yet, but
that's okay.
There's some flowers resting at Thakurji's feet for her.
Uh-oh, she's going to get a pretty good shower.
Radhe Radhe, all beautiful Vaishnavas.
Wow. And Jiva Pavana Prabhu has already posted the Mangalacharan.
Jiva Pavana Prabhu ki jai.
Jai. So Jiva Pavana Prabhu has posted Mangalacharan, the auspicious invocation, calling out for the mercy, the grace, the presence, the sidelong glances of our Gurudev, all of our Guru Varga, Shri Nityananda Prabhu, Mahaprabhu, going all the way back to the original Guru, who is Krishna himself, and his Prem Guru, Radhikar Prema Guru Ami Shishyanata. She is his Guru of Prem. So we're going to call out to all of those divine personalities for their mercy. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvetam Savadhutam Parjana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Deva Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitangscha Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam yena tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Nārāyaṇa Namine Shri Krishna Lila Katane Sudaksham Adarya Madhurya Gunaischa Yuktam Varam Varenyam Purusham Mahantam Nārāyaṇam Tvam Shirashan Namami Tridandinam Bhakta Shiromanim Cha Shri Krishna Pada Jayataika Hridhi Chaitanya Leelamrita Sarasaram Nārāyaṇam Tvam Satatam Prabhadye Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhaktivedānta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namo Vishnupadaya Gaurapreshthaya Bhutale Shri Śrīmad Bhakti Pragyana Keshavo Yuddhi Namine Ativartya Charitraya Svashritananchapadine Jivaduke Sadarataya Shri Nama Premadayine Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Iti Namine Shri Varshabhanavi Devi Dayitaya Kripabhaye Krishna Sambandha Vijnana Dayine Prabhave Namaha Madhurya Ujjvala Premadhya Shri Rupananga Bhaktida Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namostute Namaste Gauravani Shri Murtaye Dinatarine Rupanugam Nirudhapa Siddhanta Dvantaharine Namo Gaura Kishoraya Sakshat Vairagya Murtaye Vipralambhara Sambodhe Padam Jayate Namaha Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Satchidanandanamine Gaura Shakti Swarupaya Rupano Gavarayate Gaura Nirbhava Bhumestam Nirdeshta Sajana Priyam Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Shri Jaganathayate Namaha Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauradvishe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanto Radha Kanto Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Jayatang Surato Pangor Mama Mandamatirgati Matsarvasvapadam Mujo Radha Madana Mohano Divyat Vrindaranya Kalpadrumada Śrīmad Ratnagara Sinhasanastho Shri Shri Radha Śrīla Govinda Devo Presthani Sevyamanu Smarami Śrīmandra Sarasarambhi Vangshivattatatastitah Karshan Menu Svanargopirgopinatha Shriestunah Vrindaye Tulasidevya Priyaya Keshavasya cha Krishna Bhakti Pradedevi Satyavattai Namo Namaha Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupaswarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhaktashaktikam Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Cheto Darpanamarjanam Bhavamahadavagni Nirvapanam Shreya Kairava Chandrika Vitaranam Vidyavantu Jivanam Anandam Buddhivardhanam Pratipadam Purnamrita Shvadanam Sarvatmasnapanam Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam Harer Nama Harer Nama Harer Nama Eva Kevalam Kalo Nastyeva 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 Gatiranyatha Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Dandava Pranama Vaishnavas. We're so happy that you're here again too, Janardhan Prabhu. Sudevi, Rudra Prabhu said he thinks that Radha Vinu Bihari Sachinanda Gaur Hari should be a little bit more centered. They're a bit too off the side. In fact, Radhika's hand almost appears to be cut.
Okay. Is that better?
Very good question, Rudra Gupta Prabhu.
Is that good?
Yes,
Okay.
better. In the shlok, Divyad Vrindaranya Kalpadrumada Śrīmad Ratnagara Singhasanasto Shri Shri Radha Śrīla Govinda Devo Prishthālibhi Sevyamanos Smarami. The version that is written in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita is Śrīmad Radha Śrīla Govinda Devo. However, whenever I've heard our acharyas say it, they all say Shri Shri Radha. Srila Prabhupada said it like that. Our Gurudev said it like that. So many say it like that. So it must be that both are bona fide. What is the difference? Sudevi, when our Srila Gurudev would say Radhe Radhe Radhe, he wouldn't say Jai 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 Shri Radhe, would he?
No,
He
he would say Jai Jai Shri Shri Radhe.
would say Jai Jai Shri Shri Radhe. Why?
Because Shri is Srimati Radhika, and when you say Shri Shri, in this context it's the beauty of those who are the servants, the maidservants of Srimati Radhika. So Shri Shri Radhe.
If you listen to our Gurudev's recording, thank you Sudevi. Jai Jai Shri Shri Radhe. So the beauty or the shobha of Srimati Radhika, that is Unata Ujvalar song Sva Bhakti Shriyam. From that perspective, maybe we might look at why they're chanting that verse that way. When our Srila Gurudev would chant the verse Tabai Vasmi Na Jivami Tvayavina Iti Vigyaya, the original verse says Devi Tvang. Gurudev would say Radhe Tvang. Just in case you're wondering which Devi is being referred to, he doesn't leave any room for doubt. And the original says Nayamam Charanantikam, and he said Nayamam Charanantike. So sometimes there are some slight variations according to the bhav of the individual person. Dandava Pranam. So once again, reiterating, the original verse in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, which is placed there by Srila Krishna Ras Kaviraj Goswami, is Divyad Vrindaranya Kalpadrumada Śrīmad Ratnagara Singhasanasto Śrīmad Radha Śrīla Govinda Devo Prishthālibhi Sevyamanos Smarami. But if you listen to any of the recordings of our Srila Prabhupada or our Gurudev or any of the other Vaishnavas, they all say Shri Shri. So Anjali is thanking you with ulus for your explanation. Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakati Sadma. That is page 28 by Srila Narottam Das Thakur. And just in case any of you are eager who are currently being locked down again, to participate in Navadvip Parikrama, there are videos from those who are actually present there in Navadvip. This is the official first day of the Parikrama. And so you can go to those, although I'm sure or almost 100% certain that most of the katha that you will see or hear is in Bangla or Hindi. Maybe there might be some translations into other languages if you're fortunate. And then there's that other one, what do they call it? Zumakrama. I don't like the term Zumakrama, but anyhow, it's a Zoom parikrama. Basically, they're virtually discussing all the kathas of Śrī Navadvip Dham, and that will be going on as well. It's kind of like saying American devotees and Indian devotees and Chinese devotees. Actually, they're not American devotees, they're Krishna devotees from America, Krishna devotees from India, Krishna devotees from China, Krishna devotees from anywhere. So it's not exactly a Zumakrama, it's a parikrama from via Zoom. And so many different Vaishnavas will be speaking on these subjects, so I recommend that as much as possible, wherever and however you can find the inspiration to learn more about Śrī Navadvip Dham and the pastimes of Śrī Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you should run there and drink that nectar. And I'm not recommending that you leave me, because I would be left alone. But we want to finish Śrī Dāmodarāṣṭakam, hopefully, and then we can go into the pastimes of Navadvip Dham. Ah, great. Thank you, Janardhan. Yes, and you can post links to all of these different sources. What is it? Vana Madhuryam, Vidyalankar Vani. Vidyalankar Vani would be Pujapad Bhaktivedānta Maharāja. Vana Madhuryam would be Pujapad Bhaktivedānta Van Mahārāja. I think Bhaktivedānta Padmanama Mahārāja is doing something in New Braj. Pujapad Bhaktivedānta Nemi Mahārāja is doing something from the UK. So many Vaishnavas are giving so much. Amarendra Prabhu, disciple of Radha Govinda Maharaj, very knowledgeable, is also giving regular classes online and with so much detail. So, Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakti Sadma. The only way to attain Keval Bhakti, or Keval means only, but it can also be Keval Bhakti, which means pure Bhakti. The only way to attain pure devotional service is by taking shelter of the lotus feet of Shri Guru. One thing I wanted to mention before we begin this. We've gone on Navadvip Parikrama a few times. Many times. 5 or 6. Most of the time we didn't have enough funds to purchase 3 tickets to get there. But in the last few years before Gurudev's departure, we went 4 or 5 times. And one thing we noticed is that in all of the locations, they would say, this is Radha Kund. And then they would tell all of the pastimes of Krishna. And then you would go into the next location, and this is Taliban. This are all the pastimes of Krishna. And we were like, what about the pastimes of Mahaprabhu? So I'm also eager to hear the pastimes of Śrī Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Sachinandan Gaura Hari. But it's all connected. Navadvip is known as Gupta Vrindavan, secret Vrindavan. It's actually all like a direct reflection. We just don't understand how it's going on, but by the mercy of Guru and Vaishnava, they will give us the eyes to be able to see how it is Gupta Vrindavan. Shri Guru Charana Padama Kevala Bhakti Sadama. Shri Guru Charana Padama Kevala Bhakti Sadama. Bandhu Mui Savadhano Mate. Bandhu Mui Savadhano Mate. Bandhu Mui Savadhano Mate. Bandhu Mui Savadhano Mate. Jahar prasade bhai, he bhav তাহার প্রসাদে ভাই এ ভব তোরিয়া যায় কৃষ্ণ প্রাপ্তি হই যাহা হইতে কৃষ্ণ প্রাপ্তি হই যাহা হইতে গুরুমুখ পদ্ম বাক্য চিত্তে করিয়া ঐক্য গুরুমুখ পদ্ম বাক্য চিত্তে করিয়া ঐক্য আর না করিহ মনে আশা আর না করিহ মনে আশা শ্রী গুরু চরণে রতি এসে উত্তমাগতি শ্রী গুরু চরণে রতি এসে উত্তমাগতি যে প্রসাদে পুরে সর্ব আশা যে প্রসাদে পুরে সর্ব আশা চক্ষু দান দিল যে জন্মে জন্মে প্রভু সে চক্ষু দান দিল যে জন্মে জন্মে প্রভু সে দিব্য জ্ঞান হৃদয় প্রকাশিত দিব্য জ্ঞান হৃদয় প্রকাশিত প্রেম ভক্তি যাহা হইতে অবিদ্যা বিনাশ যতে প্রেম ভক্তি যাহা হইতে অবিদ্যা বিনাশ যতে বেদে গায় যাহার চরিত বেদে গায় যাহার চরিত শ্রী গুরু করুণা সিন্ধু অধম জনার বন্ধু শ্রী গুরু করুণা সিন্ধু অধম জনার বন্ধু লোকনাথ লোকের জীবন লোকনাথ লোকের জীবন হাহা প্রভু করো দয়া দেহ মোরে পদ ছায়া হাহা প্রভু করো দয়া দেহ মোরে পদ ছায়া তুয়া পদে লইনু শরণ তুয়া পদে লইনু শরণ হা হা প্রভু করো দয়া দেহ মোরে পদ ছায়া হা হা প্রভু করো দয়া দেহ মোরে পদ ছায়া তুয়া পদে লইনু শরণ এবে যাস ভূষুক ত্রিভুবন এবে যাস ভূষুক ত্রিভুবন গুরুদেব পতিত পাবন গুরুদেব পতিত পাবন প্রভুপাদ পতিত পাবন প্রভুপাদ পতিত পাবন হা হা প্রভু করো দয়া দেহ মোরে পদ ছায়া হা হা প্রভু করো দয়া দেহ মোরে পদ ছায়া গুরুদেব की जय, श्री प्रभुपाद की जय, रूपानुग गौरी गुरुवर्ग की जय, श्री गुरु परंपरा की जय। Now we will call for the mercy of the Vaishnavas. Sakala Vaishnava Gosai, page 46, by Śrī Mohan Das. Thank you. If you do not have one of these Gaudiya Gita Gucha Bhajan treasure troves, then you may search for the latest, most recent post of Jiva Pavana Prabhu. There he provides the bhajan with the translation and frequently followed by beautiful commentaries by our acharyas. Sakala Vaishnava Gosai Doya koro more Dante trino dhori kohe Edina pamare Sakala Vaishnava Gosai Doya koro more Dante trino dhori kohe Edina Shri Guru Charono Yar Shri Krishna Chaitanya Shri Guru Charono Yar Shri Krishna Chaitanya Pada Padma Pavaya Ore Koro Dhanya Pada Padma Pavaya More Korodanya Tomas Vara Koruna Bine Iha Praptino Visheshe Ajogyamu Kohilo Nishtoy Tomas Vara Koruna Bine Iha Praptino Visheshe Ajogyamu Kohilo Nishtoy Vancha Kalpataru Hao Karuna Sagaro Vancha Kalpataru Hao Karuna Sagaro Eto Bharasa Muni Goriye Antara Eto Bharasa Muni Goriye Antara Gunalesho Nahi Moro Aparadhir Sima Amayudhari Aloke Dekhao Mahima Gunalesha Nahi Moro Aparadhir Sima Amayudhari Aloke Dekhao Mahima Nama Sankirtano Ruchi Ar Prema Nama Sankirtano Ruchi Ar Prema Dhano He Radha Mohane Deho Hoyasa Karuna He Radha Mohane Deho Hoyasa Vaishnava Goshai Jai Vaishnava Goshai Vaishnava Goshai Jai Vaishnava Goshai Jai Vaishnava Goshai Jai Vaishnava Goshai Vaishnava Goshai Jai Vaishnava Goshai Jai Vaishnava Goshai Jai Vaishnava Goshai Vaishnava Goshai Jai Vaishnava Goshai Jai Vaishnava Goshai Vaishnava Goshai, Vaishnava Goshai, Jai Vaishnava Goshai.
Radhe Radhe.
He's also part of Pure Cow Seva. He's going out every day to Govardhan and other transcendental locations. This is Anup Krishna's younger brother. How many brothers are there total?
We have 5 brothers.
5 brothers, like the Pandavas. Which one are you, the baby?
I'm the little
He's the baby. And Anup?
second.
Second.
Christy, thank you so much for bringing that. Thank you.
Rasik Radha Kanta.
You want to stay for a little while? You don't want for me?
Would you like a cushion?
Oh yeah.
Or a chair? Hare Krishna. Or a chair? Take it. I'm here today because he saved my life.
No.
It's true. I'm not going to go into it.
No, it's not actually Gurudev. This is my
Gurudev inspired him. His mood was, he's my brother. He's Gurudev's disciple. So now we're going to call out for the mercy of Srila Rupa Gosvāmī Pad. You see Thakurji, how beautiful, no?
yeah.
Do you have his number? Okay. 1 second. Dear. Hari Haraye Nama Krishna Yadavaya Nama. It's for Rupa Goswami, for all of the Goswamis, very, very deeply glorifying our 6 Goswamis. It was definitely a favorite bhajan of our Srila Prabhupada. And we also have our Gurudev singing it. And although it starts with Hari Haraye, almost half of it is about desperately calling on the mercy of these 6 Goswamis. Who? And Mahaprabhu himself would sing Hari Haraye Nama Krishna Yadavaya Nama Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Nama Gopal Govindaram Śrīmad Husudan Giridhari Gopinath Madana Mohan. And then we have that recording of our Srila Prabhupada singing it, where it's kind of back. Radhe Radhe. Okay, so that is page 148 by Srila Narottam Das Thakur. Do you need a songbook or you can follow? Hari Haraye Namo Krishna Yadavaya Namaha Haraye Namah Krishna Hariharaye Namah Krishna Yadavaya Namaha Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha Gopala Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudan Giridhari Gopinath Madana Shri Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Gupta Hari Guru Vaishnava Bhagavata Gita Shri Rup Shri Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Rupa Sanatana Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dasa Raghunath Echai Goshair Kori Charana Jaha hoite vigna nasha abhishta pura Echai Goshai jar mui taro das Asavara paddarenu mora panchagras Tadera charana sevi bhakta sanevas Sanna sevi bhakta sanevas Janame janame hoye ei abhilash Echai goshai jabe brajhe koilavas Brajhe koilavas Radha Krishna Nitya Lila Korila Prakash O Anande Bolo Hari Bhajo Vrindavan O Anande Bolo Hari Bhajo Vrindavan O Shri Guru Vaishnava Pade Manjayama Vaishnava Pada Padma Kori Ash O Nama Sankirtana Kohe Narotamoda Hari Haraye Namah Krishna Yadavaya Namaha Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha Gopala Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudan Giridhari Gopinath Madana Mohan O Shri Rupa Sanatana Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dasa Raghunath Jaya Rupa Sanatan Jaya Rupa Sanatan Rupa Sanatan Jaya Rupa Sanatan Jaya Rupa Sanatan Jaya Rupa Sanatan Prabhu He Prabhu He Prabhu He Prabhu He Śrīla Rupa Gosvāmī Pāda Ki Jai, Śrī Sanātana Gosvāmī Pāda Ki Jai, Śrī Sad Gosvāmī Prabhu Ki Jai. So one thing about this particular bhajan, Mahaprabhu would only sing the first 2 lines of it. He wasn't singing his own name. He wasn't saying Shri Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Gupta. And the Goswamis also, after Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, and all of them, Narottam Das Thakur is also proper Goswami. But means a master and controller of his senses. This is the meaning of Goswami. Swami means master, and Go means cows, senses. But in this case it means senses. So who can control their senses? They are known as Goswami. So in this case, Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, our 6 Goswamis would also not sing this. Why would they sing this? It's glorifying their own foot dust. Their humility would not allow them to do such a thing. Like our Srila Gurudev, on his appearance day, they placed all of the pictures of Guru Parampara and then they put his picture. And he came out in the morning and he said, "Do you expect me to worship myself?" So we understood. If this is for Gurudev, then we should do for him what is favorable for him. And since he will personally be present, then we can all offer flowers to him, but we shouldn't expect him to worship his own picture. So Mahaprabhu would sing the first 2 lines. Narottam Das Thakur sang this whole thing. And for all of us, we must sing all of it for our benefit. So that was calling on the mercy of Srila Rupa Goswami. Even, who is it? Lokanath Goswami. Yes. Would not allow his name to be placed in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. He was so humble. He did give so much anecdotes, but he didn't want to be glorified. So indirectly, he was placed there. And of course, because Sri Narottam Das Thakur is his disciple, then Lokanath Goswami is getting so much glorification, even though he himself did not want any of it. A lot of times we see this with our Gaudiya Vaishnava Acharyas. They don't want any recognition. Completely the opposite of most these days. But those personalities, they didn't want any recognition, any notoriety. Especially those who are bhajananandis, who are doing their service, chanting, connecting with Krishna, remembering his pastimes in some forest grove somewhere, or maybe under a boat, or maybe in a public latrine. Why did Srila Gaurkishore Das Babaji Maharaj stay in the public latrine? Because he preferred the stench of that to the stench of the materialism outside. So sometimes they act in very strange ways, quite eccentric, what we call avadhut. But what does it do? It kind of keeps people away from them, and that serves a twofold function. Those who are not qualified, who would tend to make offense, will just keep a distance. And those who are very qualified, they will understand this is the special characteristic of that Vaishnava. And for those persons, like our Param Gurudev, Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj, and some others who were sent by Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, they went to that public latrine. They knocked on the door. He said, "Who's there? Don't disturb. I'm here to avoid being disturbed." And they said, "We've been sent by Srila Prabhupada, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur." He said, he always called him my Prabhu. No, I see in my Prabhu the renunciation of Raghunath Das Goswami. So he called his disciple his Prabhu. So he said, "Oh, my Prabhu has sent you." He opened the door and let them in and closed the door. And then he gave them so much blessings and so much mercy. And this is the special characteristics of those personalities. Now we will call out to Sri Nityananda Prabhu for his mercy. In fact, when devotees are going on Navadvip Dham Parikrama, it is actually based on Navadvip Dham Mahatmya, which is Bhaktivedānta Thakur's vision of Sri Nityananda Prabhu taking Jiva Goswami on Navadvip Dham Parikrama. And he's explaining all of the pastime places of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu everywhere. Without the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu, how can we attain the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? It's not possible. Ar kabe nitai chander koruna hoebe. By his mercy, all of our material existence is vanquished. And by His mercy, we will be able to give up our taste for the material things of this world and develop a transcendental taste by which we will be able to see Sri Vrindavan. But we're not going to sing that bhajan right now. We're going to sing another one. Please purchase me by calling out Gaura Hari, Akrodha Paramananda Nityananda Rai. You want to play harmonium or do you want to play mridanga? Okay, so I'm playing harmonium and Rasik is playing mridanga. Okay. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Shri Advaita Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Akrodha Paramananda Nityananda Akrodha Paramananda Nityananda Abhimano Shunya Nitai no Gare Vera Abhimano Nagare Adhamma Patita Jive Dware Dware Giya Adhamma Patita Jive Dware Dware Giya Hari Nama Mahamantra Dichena Bilaya Hari Nama Mahamantra Dichena Bilaya Jare dekhe tare kahe Tante Trinadhori Jare dekhe tare kohe Tante Trinadhori Amare ki niyalo ho Bolo goro hari Amare ki Bolo goro hari O amare ki niyalo ho Bolo goro hari Amare ki niyalo ho Bolo goro Eto boli nityananda Bhume gari jaya Vato jeno dhulate lota jeno dhulate lota heno lavo tare ja ratina jammilo heno yavo tare ja ratina jammilo lochan mone se papi elo yaro yelo lochan mone se papi elo yaro yelo akrodha paramananda nityananda raya akrodha paramananda nityananda raya abhimano shunyantaya no kare mera 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 nitai hai 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 oh jai Sachinandan jai Gaura Hari jai Sachinandan jai Gaura Hari jai Sachinandan jai Gaura Hari Sachinandan jai Gaura Hari nitai hai Gaura hai oh nitai hai Gaura hai nitai hai Gaura hai nitai hai Gaura hai Pati Pavan Shri Nityananda Prabhu ki jai Prem Purushottam Sachinandana Gaura Hari ki jai. I see comments there, but that story is not Harikatha, and it's not exactly favorable for Harikatha. So popcorn at another time in another venue, maybe privately if you need. But not for this subject. This subject matter is Shri Nityananda Prabhu, Sachinandan Gaura Hari, Akrodha Paramananda Nityananda Rai. He's going from door to door. Dware Dware Gya. Nityananda Prabhu is going from door to door. That's why our acharyas instructed their disciples, you should go door to door. Mahaprabhu also instructed. That's why Nityananda Prabhu was doing it. Go everywhere, door to door. Whomever you meet, tell them about Krishna. So Nityananda Prabhu was going door to door. Dware Dware Gya. Ghare Ghare Bule Prem. Amiyaraban. And with a straw in his teeth, which is a sign of the deepest humility. He would fall on the ground like Dandavat Pranam in front of them and beg whoever was there, please, if you just chant the name of my Gauranga, Gaura Hari, say Gaura Hari, bolo Gaura Hari, and you can purchase me. I will be yours. So Nityananda Prabhu doesn't give such a great or difficult task. Chant the name of my Gauranga and I will be yours. In other words, very easily, if you can please Sri Nityananda Prabhu, you can get the mercy of Mahaprabhu. And very easily, if you can get the mercy of Mahaprabhu, then automatically you'll get the mercy of Shri Radha and Krishna. So very loudly he's calling out. He's speaking this way. Nityananda Prabhu rolls on the ground. In humility, rolling on the ground and begging. In Jaiva Dharma chapter 16, I believe it is, there's a series of questions which start to doubt the mercy of the Lord, interestingly. The same questions that come up within us as we're progressing. We're like, wait a second, why would he make it that we would have to suffer? And then the answers are given, one after another after another. Any question you can come up with, the next answer pops up. Srila Bhaktivedānta Thakur knew what we were going to think in advance. And he gave us all of the answers. In there, finally, it says, how can you accuse him of not being merciful? He's coming door to door, begging. Please take the name of Krishna, take the name of Gaurasundar. If you just take this name, I will be yours. You can purchase me. How can you accuse him of not being merciful? It's not Krishna, it's not Mahaprabhu, it's not Nityananda Prabhu, it's not Gurudev who's not being merciful. It's us who are not being merciful to ourselves by drinking that nectar. As our Srila Gurudev said, my mercy is flowing like the Yamuna River, but I see so many are lying on the banks dying of thirst because they won't drink. So there's a requirement on the part of us, and there's the requirement on the part of them. And they are definitely fulfilling their part of the requirement. But our Gurudev said, you want me to take the rasagula, to put it in my mouth, to chew it, to swallow it, to digest it, and then you want to get all the benefit. He said, it doesn't work like that. Gurudev said, you want me to do all of the work and you just get all the benefit. He said, it doesn't work like that. You must also do something. So what do we have to do? We have to try to please. Try to serve. Gurudev said to try is bhakti. Try to please Gurudev by our endeavors. Try to please the Vaishnavas. Try to please Nityananda Prabhu. Try to please Mahaprabhu. Gurudev said simply, if you develop love for Gurudev, by that endeavor to serve and please, that's how the relationship develops and how attachment develops. Shri Guru Charane Rati, Aise Utamagati. We just sang that in the bhajan, Shri Guru Charana Padma. By developing attachment to the lotus feet. This means to Shri Gurudev, his teachings, his instructions, his moods, his observances. By developing attachment. How does one develop that attachment? Dadati Pratigunati. Through service. By serving Shri Guru. And the best way to serve, Gurudev said, really, is to hear the Harikatha of Guru and then to apply it in one's life. So to serve Gurudev, by all of these different exchanges of love and affection, one develops attachment. And from that attachment comes love. From that love, Gurudev said then very easily for Radha and Krishna. And he made that symbol with his hand, like a little twist of the hand. When you develop that affection, that appreciation for Gurudev, that is affection, love. When you develop that, then very easily it will manifest for Shri Radha and Krishna. Now we will call out for the mercy of Shri Shachinandan Gaura Hari. Prabhu he emona durmati sangsara bhitore. Page 66 by Srila Bhaktivedānta Thakur. I like that. Mamata, she writes, I honestly don't like free will. Our Srila Prabhupada, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedānta Swami Prabhupada, was speaking about real freedom. If we exercise our free will to place ourselves into prison, is that really freedom? This fortress of Maya is known as Durga. Durga, Ga means to go, and Dur means Dur. Very far, no? Very far, to go very far away from Krishna. That is Maya. illusion. This material world is known as Durga. Durga also means fort. What kind of fort? The fort that keeps people bound inside, because it's like an asylum for insane persons. All of us have this nature, otherwise we wouldn't be here. Srila Prabhupada talked about it like that. We think we are something that we are not. When you look in the mirror, you think, oh yeah, that's Kishori Mohan. That's Mamata. That's Jiva Pavana. That's Rasik. We look in the mirror and we think, I am this, and this is my family, and this is my house. But that's not necessarily true, because it wasn't like that 50 years ago, and the last life before that, and the one before that, and it won't be that next life. So we're taking on acquired identities, which are not really us. That is our nature in this world. So our freedom has placed us in prison, because we have chosen to become the enjoyer instead of serving the supreme enjoyer, who is Krishna. That is our freedom. So what is real freedom? Real freedom is to flow with one's nature. If we feel all struggle in the material world, it's because we're not flowing with our nature. But bhakti is meant to be a flow like a river, flowing toward the ocean. And the nature of every soul, Jivera Surupahoy Krishna Nitya Das, is that all jivas are servants of Krishna. Krishna, Nitya Das, eternal servants of Krishna. And being a servant implies service. And for Krishna to receive service or to accept service, it must be with love and affection, which means all jivas, by their nature, are inherently lovers of God. They serve Him with love and affection. Service is the expression of the feeling in the heart. That is what Krishna accepts. It's not about the external stuff. It's about the love and affection. So, when we approach Krishna like that, then He will accept that love and affection. That is our nature, to love and to serve. And when we enter that flow, how do we enter that flow? Maybe on our own it's a little difficult, but if we come into the association of Vaishnavas, and especially Sri Guru, then together, it's like many rivulets coming together. It forms a bigger stream, and then those all flow to the big stream. That is Sri Guru, the powerful Acharya. And that Sri Guru is flowing into the stream of his Guru, who's flowing into the stream of his Guru, who's flowing into the stream of Nityananda Prabhu, who's flowing into the stream of Mahaprabhu. And Mahaprabhu is like a raging, roaring river flowing toward the ocean of Krishna Bhakti Ras, Akila Rasamrita Murti, entering into their flow. Then in one sense you can say, well, I'm independent because I have entered into their flow, but I'm mixing all of my desires, my thoughts, my feelings, my emotions with theirs. And they are carrying me according to my nature toward the loving service of Krishna. So our Srila Prabhupada said that that is real independence, to become free of the self-binding tendency in this material world. So I like what you said there. It's very nice. That's why I don't like free will. But Krishna likes that we have free will, because He doesn't want to force us. Even our Gurudev didn't want to force. Anyone would bring their son or daughter to Gurudev and say, go forward. And Gurudev said, did you force them to come, or did they come because they wanted to come? Oh no, they wanted to come. Very good. I don't want anyone to feel forced. These days, so many gurus initiate, poof, and people don't even know. I was initiated? We're like, yeah, what's your guru's name? I don't remember. We've seen it as we traveled around the world again and again and again. Oh, my baby, 2 months old. Yes, he just received initiation. That is going against the individual jiva's free will to surrender or not. That is kind of slavery. That is not real guru-disciple relationship. Guru-disciple relationship is a mutual agreement based on understanding and based on a hope. Nama shrishtham manamapi sachiputramatra swarupam rupam tasyagra jamurupurim matunim goshtabatim radha kundam girivarmaho radhika madhavasham prapto yasya pratitakapaya shri gurum tangnatosmi. I am offering my pranam, my everything at the lotus feet of my Gurudev, because I have faith that my Gurudev will give me all of the transcendental necessities, requirements to attain the shelter of Shri Harinam Prabhu, my Diksha mantras, our 6 Gosvamis, all of the Vaishnavas, Nityananda Prabhu, Mahaprabhu, Govardhan, Radhakund, Radhika and Madhava, and he has given me assurance of attaining these things. What does a 2-month-old know about this, making this choice? Does not. So that person requires the free will to be able to choose. But at a certain point, we pray to Gurudev, O Gurudev, Koro More Atmasat. In the songbook, in the bhajan treasure trove, it has been translated as make me like you, or Koro More Atma Sat, make my Atma like yours. But Srila Gurudev gave a deeper translation. He told it to Brajendranandan Prabhu in New Braj. Koro More Atma Sat doesn't just mean make me like you, it means make me yours. And really this is the intrinsic nature of every jiva. The nature of every jiva is to be under guidance and to be under shelter. So as long as we're not under shelter, we will always feel uncomfortable, because it's against our nature to not be under shelter. Speaking of which, and then we will sing a bhajan. Did we sing for Mahaprabhu yet? Not yet. So after that one, we will sing the next one, Sarvasva Tomar. Charane Sampiya Porechi Tomar Ghare, Tumito Thakur, Tomar Kukur, Bolia Jana Homore. Bhaktivedānta Thakur is praying, everything I have is yours. You are my master and I'm like your dog. And our Srila Prabhupada gave a commentary, or was it Gurudev? Prabhupada. He said any dog without a master is always in fear. But any dog that has a master, he's very competent. Very competent. A funny little video came up on Facebook the other day. Big dogs, and the little dog was with his master and holding on to her legs, but he was barking rah, 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 at the big dogs, but he was holding on. And I showed it to Sudevi. I'm like, that's us, holding on to the legs of our Gurudev, but barking very loudly at the big dogs. So that's how we should be. When we were in the Fiji Islands, there was an overpopulation of wild dogs in the streets. And if anyone would go for a walk in the night, many people were attacked in Lautoka. So the Inhumane Society was driving up and down the streets with loudspeakers warning everyone, tonight we're going to throw out poisoned bait, poisoned food. If you care for your own pets, keep them inside, keep them locked up behind the gates so that they don't eat that poisoned food. And that night they drove around and they threw out all the poisoned meat, but any dog that had a master didn't even need to think about whether they were safe or not. Automatically their masters locked them behind the gate, made sure they were safe. But those who were not, or who were shelterless, then they succumbed to the result. Our nature is to be under shelter, is to be under guidance. And really the definition of bhakti, in the definition of bhakti, the most prominent aspect is this term anu, which means anugatya, to be under guidance. If one is not under guidance, then bhakti cannot really fully manifest. Under guidance is necessary of the real bhaktas, and by their association, bhakti, love and devotion, will manifest for Krishna. So Srila Prabhupada said, everyone has to be the dog of someone. Everyone has to be the dog of someone, no? Everyone answers to someone else. In this world, it's just that way. And we try to be independent, but then we have to answer to the next person. Everyone has to be a dog of someone. So why not be the dog of Nityananda Prabhu? And in our case, why not be the dog of Gurudev? When Gurudev gives us initiation, he puts this collar on us. Our neck beads. This means, I am yours. And I will do as you say. We should try to be good dogs for our Gurudev. So yes, is it better to be under guidance and dependent on a master who will protect you, or to be free, in a sense, in the world of definite devastation? So many different considerations. So yes, we don't like this independence. And really, Srila Gurudev said, ultimately, what does Gurudev want from the disciple? That thing which is the hardest thing to give up. It's the only thing that we have. The only thing that we have that we can say is mine. Not this body, not the mind, not the intelligence, not the apartment, and not my friends, not my family, not my stuff. One thing is there that we can say is mine, and that is my independence. And that's what Gurudev wants us to surrender, as he did to his own Gurudev. He fell at his feet, offered his Dandavat Pranam, and said, all of the attachment I had, all of the affection I had for my family, my wife, my children, my parents, my brothers, my sisters, my village, my position, my everything, all of it, and this mind and body and everything else, all of that attachment and affection I had for all of this, I've now collected in one point, and I'm offering at your lotus feet. Gurudev said at that point, our Param Gurudev shed some tears of appreciation and told him, until now I have not heard anyone say this. And Gurudev said, because of that moment, I'm having so much success in my preaching. So now we're going to sing Prabhu He Emona Durmati, page 66 by Srila Bhaktivedānta Thakur. It's a hard thing to give up, one's independence, but you will find that once you do, it is the sweetest, sweetest thing if you give it to the right person, Shri Guru. Prabhu he mono durmati sangsaro bhitare poriyaya chinuyami. Prabhu he emono durmati sangsaro bhitare poriyaya chinuyami. Otavani jajan kono mahajane hotaiya dile tumi. Tavani jajan kono mahajane hotaiya dile tumi. Emono durmati sangsaro bhitare poriyaya chinuyami. Prabhu he emono durmati sangsaro bhitare poriyaya chinuyami. Doya kori more patito dekhiya kohilo amare giya. Doya kori more patito dekhiya kohilo amare giya. Ohe dino jon শুনো ভালো কথা, ওহে দীনজন শুনো ভালো কথা, উলসিত হবে উলসিত হবে হিয়া তোমারে তারিতে শ্রীকৃষ্ণ চৈতন্য নবদ্বীপে অবতার তোমারে তারিতে শ্রীকৃষ্ণ চৈতন্য নবদ্বীপে অবতার তোমাহেন কত দিনহীন জনে তোমাহেন কত দিনহীন জনে পুরিলেন ভব পার পুরিলেন ভব পার বেদের প্রতিজ্ঞা রাখিবার তরে রুক্ম বর্ণ বিপ্রসূত বেদের প্রতিজ্ঞা রাখিবার তরে রুক্ম বর্ণ বিপ্রসূত মহাপ্রভু নামে নদিয়া মাতায় মহাপ্রভু নামে নদিয়া মাতায় সঙ্গে ভাই অবধূত সঙ্গে ভাই অবধূত নন্দ সুত যিনি চৈতন্য গোসাই নিজ নাম করি দান নন্দ সুত যিনি চৈতন্য গোসাই নিজ নাম করি দান তারিল জগত তুমিও যাইয়া তারিল জগত তুমিও যাইয়া রোহ নিজ পরিত্রাণ ও রোহ নিজ পরিত্রাণ সে কথা শুনিয়া আসিয়াছি না তোমার চরণ তলে সে কথা শুনিয়া আসিয়াছি না তোমার চরণ তলে ভক্তি বিনোদ কাঁদিও কাঁদিয়া ভক্তি বিনোদ কাঁদিও কাঁদিয়া আপন কাহিনী বলে আপন কাহিনী বলে প্রভু হে মন দুর্মতি সংসার ভিতরে হরিয়াছি নুয়ামি 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 শচীনন্দন জয় গৌর হরি শচীনন্দন জয় গৌর হরি শচীনন্দন জয় গৌর হরি শচীনন্দন জয় গৌর হরি গৌর হে 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 Sudevi, this one's also fully open. Just close the window.
I'll close this one.
The weather's not bad.
No, it actually looks like it's going to storm.
It looks like it's going to storm, and it feels very, very nice. Cool breezes blowing. It's
Are you driving a bike?
Yeah.
You you should be careful going 2
Yeah,
days.
because in just coming in, the storm is coming around.
Yeah.
You want to go now?
It's coming soon.
Because the storm's coming.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Oh, we're going to lose Rasik.
Yeah, but
Radha.
I would rather him be safe.
Yes, better to be safe. One of our friends recently slipped.
2 days ago.
2 days ago, slipped and
No, yesterday.
on the motorbike and fractured her toe.
Yeah, she got hurt. So
She got hurt, and her kids were on the bike, but they were okay.
just be careful.
Yeah, I'm just like today, just allowed to drive. Otherwise, I just park my bike.
Yeah,
I'm
but
not
if a
going-
storm is coming, then you should.
There's too much traffic. I don't like
Yeah.
a traffic bike, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bike is like a sports bike.
Oh.
You
Okay.
can just go by and
Also, before it gets dark, it's
Yeah.
So
better.
everyone say goodbye to Rasik.
Haribol,
Radhe, Radhe, thank you so much. Thank you for bringing the necessities for me. Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Mm.
Thank you. So nice you came to do kirtan.
Do you need some water?
Okay.
You
Okay.
don't want to take?
No.
Okay. Radhe Radhe. Drive safely.
Up and down. Down?
Okay.
Oh.
So now we will sing, as I said,
Sorry, open. Okay.
Sarvasva Tomar Charani Sapya Parechi Tomar Ghare. This one is written by Srila Bhaktivedānta Thakur. But although it is generally considered that this is for Krishna,
Be safe, huh?
our Srila Gurudev said it can also be sung for Gurudev. And he actually mentioned 4 different bhajans of Sharanagati or surrender nature. Surrender doesn't mean I give up. Surrender means taking shelter. So, 4 different bhajans he mentioned in this connection. One was Atmanivedan Tua Padekori. The other one was Manasa Deho Geho Joki Chumor. The other one was Sarvasva Tomar Charani Sapya. And the other one was Shri Rupa Manjari Pada. These 4 bhajans he mentioned that they can also be sung for Gurudev. But in other words,
Starts with Gurudev.
yes, Anyabhilashita Shunyam starts first and foremost with Gurudev, as does Anukulyasya Sankalpa, or the 6 symptoms of Sharanagati. So, these conceptions are very, very deep. What Srila Gurudev has given, that we can apply these moods first and foremost to Gurudev. So, as we're singing it, we can sing it for Krishna, or we can sing it for Guru Krishna. In either case, if we sing it for Guru Krishna, he will purify our mood and serve that mood to Krishna. If we sing it directly to Krishna, we still have to sing via the medium of Gurudev. We cannot separate Guru from Krishna. Yasya prasadad bhagavat prasado, yasya prasadad nagati kutopi, dhyayang stuvangshtasya yasastri sandhyam bande guru shri charanāravindam. So Sarvasva Tomar Charani Sapya Parechi Tomar Ghare. Let me just see if we have the page number yet. If you do not have the bhajan treasure trove known as Sri Gaudiya Gita Gucha, then you can consult Jiva Pavana Prabhu, who posts the bhajans in the comment section of the thread. So just go to that most recent post of Jiva Pavana Prabhu and you will find it there. I didn't translate this Yasya Prasadad Bhagavat Prasado. By the mercy of Krishna, one attains Guru. By the mercy of Guru, one attains Krishna. In this connection, so many remembrances of Gurudev, like anecdotes coming. So there's one verse in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. It says, nothing else is needed, only Harinam is necessary. Nothing else is necessary. And so some people take that verse out of the context of the rest of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita and say, this is all we need. And so this topic was brought up to our Srila Gurudev, Srila Bhaktivedānta Nārāyaṇa Gosvāmī Mahārāja. And he said, you cannot remove that from the rest of its context. He said, you don't understand. By the mercy of Krishna, one attains the form or the condensed aspect of the mercy of Krishna, that is Shri Guru. So there's a general prayer. Help me. I'm lost. I want to know the truth. I don't know who I am. I don't know where I'm going. I don't know why I'm suffering. I don't know what my goal is. please be merciful to me. If there is anything out there, these existential questions, please answer me, O universe. Even that. If there is a God, please help me. If someone is sincere, even a little bit, like Gurudev said, if they don't know anything and they pick up a straw, piece of grass, and they're praying via that medium, because the energy of the Lord is everywhere. Nothing moves without the sanction of the Lord. He knows every single movement of every electron and quark and everything. So if you're praying even like that, but with sincerity, He can accept and hear that prayer. And He will arrange for the necessary association, Gurudev said, that will enable one to progress toward their intrinsic nature, which is loving devotion. A gradual process will take place. Sadhu Sangha will take place. So, Yasya Prasādāt Bhagavat Prasādo. You pray to Krishna, and by the mercy of Krishna, one attains Shri Guru. So it's almost like you join the Hare Krishnas and you start chanting Hare Krishna. Well, you're already chanting Hare Krishna, then why do you need Guru? That chanting of Hare Krishna builds the Sukriti, spiritual merit. It calls Krishna's mercy and attracts into one's life Shri Guru. And then Shri Guru again gives you the name of Krishna, but not just the general name of Krishna. What we may have been chanting could be Namaparad. When Guru is chanting, Shri Guru, Sadguru, it is Shuddhanam. He's placing Krishna in our heart, giving us some relationship, awakening that relationship to Krishna, and then sending us on a treasure hunt. Who have I placed in your heart? That is your eternal beloved. Krishna prapti hoy jaha hoite. Guru makes Krishna appear in your heart. Now you have to search. How? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Following under the guidance of our Gurudev, of our Guru Varga, of the 6 Goswamis. He Radhe, Vrajadevike, Chalalite, He Nandashuno Kuta, Shri Govardhana Kalpapada Patale, Kalindi Banye Kuta. Oh Krishna, where are you? Like our Gurudev said. Gurudev was in his room chanting. Not chanting. He said, I've never chanted anything. He said, I serve Harinam Prabhu. I've never eaten anything. I serve Mahaprasad, Krishna in the form of His mercy, in the form of Mahaprasad. So Gurudev was in his room sitting on his bed, as he would, with his mala to his heart, as he would do. Hare Krishna, and weeping and weeping and weeping. Tears were flowing from his eyes. And this devotee quietly entered in and sat down as Gurudev was chanting. At that time, it was okay to do that. After some time, Gurudev opened his eyes and he just said, in this world, there is no problem. There is only one problem. Where is Krishna? Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. And he continued weeping while chanting the names of Krishna, serving the names of Krishna. This is our only problem. Everything else really is not a problem. So, Sarvasva Tomar, Charane Sapiya, Ore Chitomara Ghare, Tumita Thakur, Tomara Kukur, Bolia Janaho More. When you pray to Krishna sincerely, He sends you help in the form of Guru. And then Guru makes you qualified to actually serve Krishna. Page 205 in this. Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying, having surrendered everything at your lotus feet, I remain prostrated at your house. In other words, he's not seeing his house as his house anymore. This is the Lord's house, or Gurudev's house. You are my Lord. Kindly accept me as your dog. Tether me nearby and maintain me. I shall keep watch at your door. I shall not allow any antagonistic person to enter and will keep them outside your fortress. Whatever remnants your devotees leave behind after honoring your prasad will be my sustenance. Daily I will feast on those remnants in supreme bliss. Whether sitting up or lying down, I will constantly meditate upon your lotus feet. Whenever you call, I will come to you, dancing in joy. I shall never think about my own maintenance. Rather, I shall remain absorbed in bhav. Bhaktivinoda accepts you as his sole maintainer. Very beautiful mood. How do you say, where is Krishna in Brajbasi? Krishna kahan hai? I don't know exactly in Braj Bhasha. In Hindi it's... Braj Bhasha is very rustic, village. Like in Hindi you would say, kahan ja rahe hain? Or something, like where are you going? In Braj Bhasha, kahan ja roe, something like that. So it's a little bit different. And there's different dialects. Every few kilometers you go, or miles, it changes. So it's very difficult to say. I doubt that Sundaralala Sachiridulala is written by Bhakti Charu Maharaj. He did sing it though, and recorded it, but it's not written by him. Sarvasva tomar charani sampiya porechi tomar ghare. Sarvasva tomar charani sampiya porechi tomaro ghare. Tumi to thakur tomaro kukur boliya jano more. Sarvasva tomar charane sapiya porechi tomaro ghare. Tumi to thakur tomaro kuku boliya jano more. Bandhiya nikate amare palibe rohibo tomaro dware. Pratipo janere asite na divo rakhibo gore ro pare. Bandhiya nikate amare panibe rohibo tomaro dware. Pratipo janere asite na divo rakhibo gore ro pare. Tavo nijo jan prasado seviya uchishto rakhibe jaha. Amaro bhojan paramoyanande pratidino habe taha. Tavo nijo jan prasado seviya uchishto rakhibe jaha. Amaro bhojan paramoyanande বসিয়া শুইয়া তোমারো চরণ চিন্তিব সতত আমি নাচিতে নাচিতে নিকটে যাইব যখন রাখিবে তুমি বসিয়া শুইয়া তোমারো চরণ চিন্তিব সতত আমি নাচিতে নাচিতে নিকটে যাইব যখন রাখিবে তুমি নিজের পোষণ কভু ন ভাবিব রহিব ভাবের ভরে ভক্তি বিনোদ তোমারে পালক বলিয়া বরণ করে নিজের পোষণ কভু না ভাবিব রহিব ভাবের ভরে ভক্তি বিনোদ তোমারে পালক বলিয়া বরণ করে সর্বস্ব তোমার চরণে সাপিয়া পড়েছি তোমারো ঘরে তুমি তো ঠাকুর তোমারো কুকুর বলিয়া জানো মোরে সর্বস্ব তোমার চরণে সাপিয়া পড়েছি তোমারো ঘরে তুমি তো ঠাকুর তোমারো কুকুর বলিয়া জানো মোরে কৃষ্ণ হে 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 ও কৃষ্ণ হে 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 श्री कृष्ण कन्हैया लाल की जय। Now we're going to call out the mercy, the grace, the sidelong glance of Vrishabhananandini, Srimati Radharani. Can you find Vande Shri Vrishabhanu Sutapada, or is that a difficult task? It's from the Gitabali section of Śrī Stavamrita Lahari by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Okay, it looks okay still. Thank you. %, now. I wish there was a way to turn that off. I tried before, but it didn't work. Radha bhajane jadi mati nahi bhela. Page 110. by Srila Bhaktivedānta Thakur. Radha bhajane jadi mati nahi bhela Krishna bhajano tavo akarano gela Radha bhajane jadi mati nahi bhela Krishna bhajano tavo akarane gela ato porohito suraj nahi jani ato porohito suraj nahi jani Radha virohito Madhav nahi mani Radha virohito Madhav nahi mani Kevalo Pujaye so jnani Kevalo madhavo Pujaye so jnani Radhayo nadaro Koroya bhimani Radhaya nadaro koroya bhimani kabahi nahi korogi takaro sanga kabahi nahi korogi takaro sanga chite ichasi jadi brajarasaranga chite ichasi jadi brajarasaranga Radhika dasi jadi hoy abhimano Radhika dasi jadi hoy abhimano shigrai milai tavo Kano Shigrai milai tavo Gokula Kano Brahma Shiva Narada Shruti Nārāyaṇi Brahma Shiva Narada Shruti Nārāyaṇi Radhika Padaraja Pujayamani Radhika Padaraja Pujayemani Umarama Satya Shachi Chandra Rukmini Umarama Satya Shachi Chandra Rukmini Radhayo Bataro Sabe Amnayamani Radhayo Bataro Sabe Amnayamani Heno Radha Paricharja Jakoro Dhano Heno Radha Paricharja Jakoro Dhano Bhakati Vinodota Magaye Charano Bhakati Vinodota Magaye Charano Radha Bhajane Jadi Moti Nahi Bhela Krishna Bhajano Tavo Yokarano Gela Radha Bhajane Jadi Moti Nahi Bhela Krishna Bhajano Tavo Yokarano Gela Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Shri Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Shri Radhe Jaya Vrishabhanu Nandini Radhe Radhe Vrishabhanu Nandini Radhe Radhe Jaya Vrishabhanu Nandini Radhe Radhe Vrishabhanu Nandini Radhe Radhe Kano Manu Mohini 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 Radhe Radhe Vrishabhananandani Shrimati Radharani Ki Jai. I think I've told you all before, I was quite surprised when I came to our Srila Gurudev, Srila Bhaktivedānta, Nārāyaṇa Gosvāmī Mahārāja, and he introduced us to bhajans like Radha Bhajane Jadi by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. It was quite a shock actually, because coming from where I came from, it's kind of like you didn't even say her name. And if the name, the term Manjari came up, or Gopi, like that. But here Bhaktivinoda Thakur is very clearly stating, if the desire to worship Sri Radha does not arise, then your worship of Krishna goes in vain. I was like, what? What? And the Narottam Das Thakur is saying the same thing, and it's everywhere. Srila Gurudev showed us what is the meaning of Rupanuga. It's not that Srila Prabhupada did not show us, Gurudev showed us in his books where it is, and he showed us that it is everywhere. But bhajans like this very, very clearly state that if one is only worshipping Krishna, then they are ignorant. And they are actually disrespecting Sri Radha, and this is only conceitedness. There's no meaning to the sun without the sunlight. There's no meaning to fire without its heat. Similarly, we cannot accept Madhava separate from Radha. And then they say, again and again, don't associate with those persons who don't worship Srimati Radhika alongside Krishna, but don't associate with those persons if you long, if you desire, or if your goal is to attain Brajaras. So he's very clear here. And it's quite surprising. But for me, I was a little bit shocked. I was like, wait a second, really? Really? It's here? Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying this? I was surprised. But then Gurudev showed us that it is everywhere. So then we became a little bit less apprehensive, meaning a lot less apprehensive, to include the name of Sri Radha, beside the fact that we say her name every time we say the word Hare, she who steals the heart of Krishna, that is Kana Mana Mohini, who's stealing his mind, who's bewildering him. Madan Mohana Mohini, same thing. So, Shri Radha Krishna Jugala Ki Jai. Now we will sing Śrī Dāmodarāṣṭakam by Śrī Satyavrata Muni, page 290, 290.
We did it. Now we're okay, everyone.
Yeah, but they said froze like 2 minutes ago. Sorry about that.
It's okay. They just need to refresh and it'll come back.
Refresh
Sorry.
and it will come back.
I'm so sorry.
So I was speaking about how our Srila Gurudev, Srila Bhaktivedānta Nārāyaṇa Gosvāmī Mahārāja, he was reading from Srila Prabhupada's books and giving explanations. And I remember feeling like for the first time it's actually making sense. By my own strength, even the reading was not having that same effect as when a pure devotee who was a Tattvadarshi was explaining it. And that was quite interesting. Because Srila Prabhupada gave so much in his books, and yet, still, it does require association with the pure devotees. That was very interesting for me as well. Because I thought before, on my own I can do it. And then, by the power of the pure devotees, we began to sing Gurudev Kripa Bindu Diya, Ekaki Amar Nahi Paibal. On my own I can't do it. I require the help of pure devotees. I have no intelligence, no good intelligence on my own. Jogyata Vichare Kichu Nahi Pai. What do I have on my own? I have no strength. I have no capacity. I have capacity but no potency yet. But by being in the association of the pure devotees who are Tattvadarshis, they can awaken these truths within our hearts. And so, then you look in Prabhupada's books, by their mercy, I was able to see on every single page, essential, the most essential thing is the association of pure devotees. And that was quite interesting. Today, Sudevi shared something interesting with me, because we were speaking about it yesterday, about sadhu sangha. And devotees were asking, well, they're saying the devotees are preaching that there's 3 different kinds of sadhu sangha. Kanishta sadhu sangha, Madhyam sadhu sangha, Uttam sadhu sangha. And Srila Govinda Maharaj was like, what do you want? What's your goal? What's your...
I said, is it all sadhu sangha? And then he said, my feeling, my thinking is premi bhakta. Premi bhakta. And they're like, only that? And he goes, what do you want? What is your goal? How will you get it? And then he started speaking about the premi bhakta
Shuddha bhakta,
who has captured Krishna in the core of their heart. They can give Krishna. One who has life can give life.
One who has Krishna can give Krishna.
One who has Krishna can give Krishna.
That's why we say to the Vaishnavas, Krishna se tomar, Krishna is yours. Therefore, Krishna dite paro, you can give Krishna. Tomara shakati ache. That is within your power. Because you have captured Krishna by your love, then you can give Krishna. What is my position? I am just a beggar, amito kanga. Krishna, Krishna boli dhai taba pache pache. So, Srila Govinda Maharaj made that point very clearly. He was like, what do you want? Who has Krishna can give you Krishna. That means the premi bhakta. Tishtan braje tad anuragi jan. That person whose heart is overflowing with prema for Krishna, they can awaken that prema in our heart for Krishna. Because they have Krishna, they can give Krishna. And what can Krishna do about it? Sri Guru places Krishna in our heart when he gives Harinam. He places Krishna here in these forms, these beautiful forms. By calling them, you come and you be here and accept the service of these devotees. Guru is able to do that. That person who has conquered Krishna by their love and affection. I'm using the word conquered. Who is otherwise unconquerable. He is conquered by love and affection. Who has love and affection? That premi bhakta. Not just anyone can control Krishna. Who controls him? The Brajbasis control him. That's why Rupa Goswami says, Tishtam braje tad anuragi jananagami. the Brajabasi who can control Krishna, being in their association, then Krishna can manifest in your heart. Srila Govinda Maharaj, my feeling, Kanishta is there, Madhyam, my feeling is Premi Bhakta. Premi Bhakta. This is the kind of person he wanted to associate with. Anyway, Sudevi shared that with me today, and I thought it was so pertinent to yesterday's conversation, I should share it with all of you. So now, Śrī Dāmodarāṣṭakam, page 290. And I believe this is the Gaudiya tune today. Namami Sharam Sachirananda Rupam Lasat Kundalam Gokule Brajamanam. Sorry. Ghee lamp afterward. Yashoda bhiyo luko ladhavamanam paramrishtamatyan tato drutya gopya namami sharam sachirananda rupam lasat kundalam gokule brajamanam rudantam muhurnetra yugmam vrijantam karam bhoja jugmena satam kanetram muhushvasa kampa trirekhanka kanta stitagraivam damodaram bhaktivedāntam namami sharam sachirananda rupam lasat kundalam gokule brajamanam iti drikshvalilabhir ananda kunde svaghosham nimajantam akyapayantam tadiyeshitageshu bhaktarjitatam punah prematastam shatavritimange namami sharam sachirananda rupam lasat kundalam gokule brajamanam param deva moksham namokshabadhim va no chanyam vrineham vareshadapiha idam teva purnatho gopalabalam sadame manosyami rastam kimanye namami sharam sachirananda rupam lasat kundalam gokule brajamanam idam te mukham bhojam avyaktani pritam kuntalai snigdha raktaishcha gopya muhushchumbitam bimba raktadharam me manasya virastam malam lakshalam namami sharam sachidananda rupam lasat kundalam Brajamanam. Namo Devo Damodarananta Vishnu Prasiddha Prabho Dukha Chalabdhimagnam Kripa Drishti Vrishtyati Dinam Vatanu Grihane Shamagyam Medyakshidresha Namami Sharam Sachirananda Rupam Lasatkundalam Gokule Brajamanam Kuveratmajo Badha Murtyaiva Yadva Tvayamo Chitto Bhakti Bhajo Krito Cha Tatha Prema Bhakti Swakame Prayacha Namokshe Graho Mesti Damodareha Namami Sharam Sachirananda Rupam Lasatkundalam Gokule Brajamanam Namaste Studamne Spuradipti Dhamne Tvadiyodorayatho Vishwasya Dhamne Namo Radhikayai Tvadiyapriyayai Namo Radhikayai Tvadiyapriyayai Namo Radhikayai Tvadiyapriyayai Namo Nantalilayo Devayo Tubhyam Namo Radhikaya Tvadiyapriyaya 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 Namo Nantalilayo Devaya Tubhyam Namo Nantalilayo Devaya Tubhyam Damodara Radha 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 Damodara Jaya Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Radhe Jaya Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Radhe Shri Radha Damodara Ju Ki Jai Śrī Dāmodarāṣṭakam Ki Jai. Sudevi, when's Miles' birthday? Mukunda?
Yesterday.
Oh,
And today is
today is Keshav Priya's birthday. Now that we have gone through all of that progression, we have come to Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. I don't know why I'm looking at the page numbers. First, Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari with Hare Krishna. Jai Radha Madhava Jai Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari, Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha, Jai Girivaradhari, Jai Girivaradhari, Jai Gopi Jana Vallabha, Jai Girivaradhari, Jai Girivaradhari, Jai Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjan, Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjan, Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjan, Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana, Jamuna Tiravana Chari, Jaya Kunja Bihari, Jaya Jamuna Tiravana Chari, Jaya Kunja Bihari, Jaya Radha Madhava, Jaya Kunja Bihari, Jaya Radha Madhava, Jaya Kunja Bihari, Jaya Radha Madhava, Jaya Kunja Bihari, oh Jaya Radha Madhava, Jaya Kunja Bihari, Jaya Radha Madhava, Jaya Kunja Bihari, Jai Radha Madhava, Jaya Kunja Bihari. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Bolo Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Jai Jai Gurudev, 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 Jai Gurudev, 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 Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Shri Gurudev ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Rupanuga Gauri Guru Varga ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Can you open the window here again, please? I know it's late. I know I forgot. But, anyhow. Thank you. Shri Radha Vino Bihari Ju, Shashi Nandana Gaura Hari ki jai, Giriraj Mahārāja ki jai, Shalagram Shila ki jai, Laddu Gopala Chota Chota Laddu Gopala ki jai, Shri Yashoda Damodar ki jai. ठीक है. गुरवे गौरचंद्राय राधिकाय तदाले कृष्णाय कृष्ण भक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः. अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकाय चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. नमः ओं विष्णुपदाय राधिकाय प्रियात्मने श्रीमद् भक्तिवेदान्त नारायण नित्यनामिने. नमः ओं विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामी नित्यनामिने. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च Patitanang pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate giring yat kripatamaham vande Shri Gurung Dinatarinam. First of all, I offer my Dandavat Pranam thousands of times in the dust of the lotus feet of our beloved Gurudev. Nitya Lila Pravishta Vishnupa Rashto Tarashata Shri Śrīmad Śrī Bhaktivedānta Nārāyaṇa Gosvāmī Mahārāja. And the same Dandavat Pranam thousands of times in the dust of the lotus feet of Nitya Lila Pravishta Vishnupa Ashto Tarashata Shri Śrīmad Śrī Bhaktivedānta Swami Srila Prabhupada. And to all of our Rupanuga Gaudiya Guru Varga. And to all Vaishnavas past, present and future, including all of you who are present with us today, I offer my Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam dear Vaishnavas. Radhe 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 Shyam.
Radhe Shyam.
Try to finish so that you can.
So we're going to try to complete Śrī Dāmodarāṣṭakam soon. Considering how long it took us to get through 8 verses, I think we have about another month left.
No.
This is not a book. This is a treasure. This is manifested from the heart of Śrī Satyavrata Muni over millions of years as he was progressing in his moods of spontaneous loving service and devotion to Krishna. This was placed in Padma Purana by Ved Vyas. In this version we have the commentary of Śrī Sanātana Gosvāmī, the translation of that commentary by our Param Gurudev Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj with his injected bhav anubad, followed by the commentary of our Gurudev Srila Bhaktivedānta Nārāyaṇa Gosvāmī Maharaj, full of ras, full of bhav, full of so many transcendental sentiments and beautiful harikatha. So before entering into this transcendental treasure and examining its contents, we will pray in the dust of the lotus feet of these divine personalities in the words of Śrī Raghunathas Goswami. Vairāga juga bhakti rasam prayatnaya rapayanam mam anubhipshamandam kripam vidirya paradukuduki sanatanastam prabhum ashrayami. Begging in the dust of their lotus feet that may even a particle of their moods, which are present within these pages, manifest itself within our hearts. Now we are on the 8th and final verse of Śrī Dāmodarashtakam. Namaste studamni spuraditi damni tvadiyadorayato vishvasya dhamni namo radhikayai tvadiyapriyayai namo nantalilayo devaya tubhyam namo radhikayai tvadiyapriyayai Namo Nantalilayo Devaya Tubhyam. So we're still within the Digdarshini Tika Bhavanubad of our Param Gurudev's translation and his own Bhavanubad of this 8th verse. So yesterday we were hearing why Śrī Satyavrata Muni is offering his obeisance to Srimati Radhika. If one tries to approach Krishna directly, as we've just discussed in that bhajan by Srila Bhaktivedānta Thakur, Kevala Madhava Pujaye so Agyani. Those persons who only worship Krishna or Madhava, their puja or their worship is ignorant. How do you see the sun? This example is given by all of our Shastras, by all of our Gurus. How does one see the sun? By the Shakti or the potency, by the qualities of the sun. Shape is a quality. Light is a quality. Heat is a quality. The rays are qualities. In other words, Shaktis. By the mercy of the Shakti, you can understand and know the Shaktiman. So directly approaching, you may not understand. You can understand by the medium of Shakti. So Satyavrata Muni is making the best conclusion by approaching Krishna in a way that will get Krishna's attention. Now I'm offering pranam to Srimati Radhika. Namo Radhikaye. Krishna hears that name and his ears perk up. Tvadiya Priyaya. She is your very most dear. Oh, his ears start to burn with anticipation. What do you want? You know about my Radhika? You know she's my most dear? This is a desperate kind of calling. The Satyavrata Muni, he knows now. Call for Krishna by calling for his dear most. And by the mercy of Srimati Radhika, one's love and affection will be transmitted to Krishna. Oops, we have a question. Is the rope also conscious? If so, why don't we worship the rope? Didn't you, we discussed this already before. Not only is it conscious, but the rope is. What did he say? The sage says, I offer my respectful obeisance to the wondrous rope binding your waist. What is that rope like? Considering this question, he adds, it is the abode or refuge of all splendid effulgence. Here he intends to establish that due to being replete with unlimited effulgence, this extraordinary rope consists of the very nature of concentrated Brahma, that is transcendental bliss. Brahma is transcendental effulgence, but the rope itself is conscious. And as we discussed the other day, it is the manifestation. It is said that Yashoda bound Krishna with the rope of her love and affection. It is the manifestation of her love and affection in Vatsalya Prem, which is binding her son. So yes, first Satyavrata Muni is offering prayers there. Yashoda bhiyo luka ladhavamanam param vrishtamatyantato drutya gopya. Then he's coming here. Namaste stu damne spuradipti damne tadiya dorayata vishvasya dhamne. So he's offering his pranam to the rope. That rope which has bound Krishna. Why? Because if that rope can bind Krishna, and it is a transcendental and conscious personality, if that rope can do it, then that rope can also mercifully grant me the capacity to do it. Because that rope has been able to bind Krishna, then by the rope's mercy, I can also bind Krishna. But just for extra added emphasis, Namo Radhikaye Tvadiya Priyaye, Namo Nantalilaya Devaya Tubhyam. I've heard that Pushti Margi Vaishnavas worship Laddu Gopal alone. How do we understand this? I'm sorry in advance in case. There's so many different conceptions. Some are worshipping Laddu Gopal. They put a lot of emphasis on worshipping Yamuna Devi. And also those who are the sannyasins, or those in the higher conceptions, means as they've progressed more, they worship in a different way. So it depends. It's almost like they take their followers on a kind of gentle, slow progression. If one is worshipping Laddu Gopal and actually properly worshipping Laddu Gopal, then they should be worshipping Laddu Gopal in connection with and under the guidance of those who have bound him by their love and affection. So only myself going to Krishna, this is not appreciated by Krishna himself. And this is not appreciated by any sadhus, really. But taking shelter of Krishna's nearest and dearest, as we told at the end yesterday, as Mahadev himself is saying, Aradhananam sarvesham Vishnur aradhanam param. Of all kinds of worship, worship of Vishnu or Krishna is the topmost, but tasmat, more than that, parataram devi tadiyanam samarchanam. Worshipping his tadiya, who is near and dear to him, that is more than worshipping Vishnu or Krishna. So I would say, I'm going to use this term, I would say, from a immature perspective, one might be looking like that. Okay, I have children in my home, I'm feeling some kind of vatsalyata toward my children. let me also include Gopal. Oh yes, I'm looking at him like this. It's kind of like what I'm feeling in my life now, I'm going to approach Krishna like that. And there's nothing wrong with it. But it might not be the intrinsic nature of their Atma. So over time, they might have to let that go, as Satyavrata Muni himself is doing. First, he's aspiring for Yashoda Bhav, and now he's going, wait a second, now Namo Radhikaye Tvadiya Priya is going towards Srimati Radhika. So there's some kind of progression. In the beginning, we like to superimpose our personal consideration, how I am in this world, onto that transcendental thing. Like when I was 4 in nursery school, the teachers came and asked, what do you want to be when you go back to Krishna Loka? And all of the boys, sure enough, said, we want to be cowherd boys. I want to be Bhima. I want to be Hanuman. And all the girls are like, we want to be gopis, except for Sudevi. She wanted to be a queen in Dwarka. And I was just thinking, because at the time it was common knowledge. And then everyone kind of got silenced, or somehow they shut it out. But it was common knowledge back in the day of Srila Prabhupada, that actually, as that devotee leaned out in 26 2nd Avenue during the interview of Gargamuni, and he said, actually, we all want to be gopis. Where did he get that from? Srila Prabhupada. The mission. So this Krishna consciousness movement is how to become one of the Gopi Jan. So it was known about. But anyhow, what do you want to be? Oh, my desire for my enjoyment is to be like this or to be like that. But the youngest one in the entire nursery school, she was only 3. She chimed up and she said, I want to be a flower. And I was looking like, oh my God. She's the only one here who understands the concept of not being the body. At 4 years old, I understood that much. I didn't put 2 and 2 together that still she's desiring to be something, which might not be the nature of her soul. So, mothers, they're attracted to Bal Gopal, young girls who are coming into the age of puberty, and they also like babies, but they also like the beloved aspect. They're, oh, yes, my heart is flowing like this. I like Krishna like that. Boys, young boys, oh, I like Krishna like a cowherd boy. But this is not what Mahaprabhu came to give, especially not through Rupa Goswami. Unata ujvala rasang svabhakti shriyam. What is Rupanuga Vaishnavism? We've discussed this many, many times. So, what I want to be, why do I want to be that? What is the point? What is the purpose of my wanting it? Is it for Krishna's pleasure? If it is for Krishna's pleasure, then we can call it bhakti. If it is for my pleasure, but it is in relation to Krishna, then we can call it some kind of bhakti abhas, shadow, or arop siddha bhakti, or sangha siddha bhakti, related, somehow connected, but maybe not pure. Anyhow, Bhagavatam Shastra says, akama sarva kama va moksha karma udara. However you approach Krishna, it's good. Just approach Krishna. Whether you're full of material desires or no desires at all, approach Krishna. Because gradual purification will be there. But if one has guidance of any pure Vaishnava, if one has received the mercy of any sadhu, hearing under their guidance Śrīmad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Upadeshamrita, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, and all of our Gaudiya Vaishnava Granthas, all of these scriptures, then a very, very clear picture is formed. It's not about what I want. It's about what pleases Krishna. All devotees are praying. In whatever situation you want to keep me in, you can send me to hell or heaven, or in a body of a demon or a devotee, as long as I have the association of your devotees or devotion for you. As Mahaprabhu is saying, birth after birth. He's not even asking for liberation. Just birth after birth, whatever situation I'm in, let me always have bhakti for you. That's why it's essential to come under the guidance of Sri Guru. For a lot of guys, it's a little weird, thinking I'm a man. And Sri Guru is like, actually, You're to aspire to be a 12-and-a-half-year-old girl in Vrindavan. It goes right against the male ego, doesn't it? But that's the nature of the Atma, what Sri Guru is giving indication of. That is your sadhya. That is your sadhya, your goal. And your sadhana, your bhajan, is to attain that. Guru is not giving it. Guru is indicating it because Guru can see the intrinsic, inherent, constitutional nature of that Atma. And so he directs you accordingly so you don't waste time. So we don't waste time running after all of our desires. Instead, what is the nature of my Atma? Okay, let me serve Krishna according to the nature of my Atma, and all other things push to the side. Form one pointed focus, exclusivity, develop that nature, and run on the path to perfection. For one who takes shelter of Sri Guru like that, Srimad Bhagavatam says, they can run on the path even with their eyes closed. I like that idea. Not institutional, constitutional. Which is beyond any institutional consideration. My page just jumped. So now we're continuing with what our Param Gurudev and Śrī Sanātana Gosvāmī are saying. So a different understanding is that the sage is offering his pranam to Srimati Radhika alone because he regards her as the foremost of all of the gopis. Śrī Sanātana Gosvāmī now sheds light on why the sage uses the word Radhika. Sri Radha is constantly immersed in Bhagavan's Aradhana. We already read this the other day. Even without considering her worship of you, she is simply your Nitya Priya, your eternal beloved. So remember, we read about eternal beloved. Did I miss an annotation somewhere? Oh. Furthermore, the sage says, where's the annotation from? Sorry. I have to read them because they wouldn't put them there if they weren't important. Ah, there it is. Okay. So furthermore, the sage says, due to the love that all of your devotees, Tvadiya, have for you, they are very dear to her. So what can be said about how dear you must be to her? In other words, you are her Nitya Priya or eternal beloved. In this way, the sage is proclaiming Srimati Radhika's exceptional love for Sri Krishna. His words can be understood in two ways. I offer my respectful obeisance to you, the beloved of Radhika, or I offer my obeisance to your most beloved, Sri Radhika. Whoever loves you is worthy of adoration by the whole universe. Therefore, since Sri Radhika is your most beloved, I offer my most respectful obeisance to her. At the end of his prayers, he wanted to describe Srimati Radhika's pastimes with Sri Krishna, such as Rasalila, which are most worshipful. However, recognizing that such pastimes are extremely confidential, he did not describe them explicitly. So now the annotation comes by our Param Gurudev, Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj. Generally, the statement, Namo Nanta Lilaya, this is the last one, Namo Ananta Lilaya Devaya Tubhyam. I am offering my pranam to your unlimited pastimes. It's understood to mean, I offer my obeisance exclusively to Ananta Lila Bhagavan, or that Sri Krishna, whose pastimes have no end. However, directing his attention toward Śrī Satyavrata Muni's inner intention and driven by his own personal bhav, Śrīla Sanātana Gosvāmī has revealed a confidential meaning of the above phrase. This is why it's important to be under the guidance of the seers of the truth, of the Vaishnavas. Otherwise, we would just skim the surface. We would never go deep. But those Vaishnavas, they can see everything. They see top, bottom, everything, and all the different variegated aspects, and they can reveal these truths to us because their hearts are flowing with pure love for Krishna. Then everything about Krishna is revealed to them, and they can share it with us. So Śrī Sanātana Gosvāmī explains that the sage is actually offering his obeisance directly to Śrī Rasa Lila. The word ananta means that which has no limit or end. Or in other words, eternal, unending, and or innumerable. According to Sanskrit grammar, the word lilaya is the singular fourth case of the word lila because it is conjuncted with namaha. I know this is where some people's attention goes, woof, it's very mathematical. Conjunctions in Sanskrit. So lilaya is the singular fourth case of the word lila because it is the syllable li means to embrace. Radha alingita vigraham. Li means to embrace, and la means to accept. Thus, with the word lila, it is understood that the sage is saying, I offer my obeisance to Rasa Lila and other pastimes in which Sri Krishna accepts the gopis' embraces. Did you ever know that meaning of lila before? Broken down into its different aspects. To accept, embrace. Well, Krishna is accepting the embraces of the gopis, so this is reference to Rasa Lila. Therefore, in his above explanation, Śrīla Sanātana Gosvāmī explains that Ananta Lilaya also refers to all of Sri Bhagavan's pastimes in Gokul. And thus it is understood that the sage is offering his obeisance to all of Bhagavan's pastimes. In this way, Śrī Sanātana Gosvāmī has also made meaningful his own statement. Madhurena samapayet, all should end sweetly. Why do we have no and no? Sonam and Ivan, we have no and no. Okay. All should end sweetly. Yes. Here, one more point must be carefully noted. In this final verse of Damodarashtakam, Śrīla Sanātana Gosvāmī Pad is informing us that although Sri Krishna's pastimes, such as Rasa Lila, are the most exalted of all of his Leelas, they are highly confidential and therefore not to be described directly. So indirect is the way to go. For this reason, Śrī Satyavrata Muni has offered his obeisance to such pastimes by just hinting at them. That is actually the nature of most of our scriptures, Śrīmad Bhagavatam, all of our Shastras, the Vedas also, and the Vedanta Sutras. Sutras are aphorisms, but a lot of it is in code. How do you understand code? Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami, he didn't want to write these high esoteric subjects because he felt that those who are unqualified might read it and then make offense. But then he reasoned that they have no qualification to understand it anyway. And so he will write it, and the fact that they won't understand it is the greatest source of joy for him because they're not qualified to understand it. So therefore he can present it. So these pastimes are here, but they're not meant to be given directly. So much is there in code. And I'm going to give you a quick example, which I've given you before. For me and Sudevi, we have a code. And for those who have heard this story before, and I'm not going to tell it now, later on we will tell it. For those of you who have heard it, you will know what it means. Thumbs. And for those of you who have not heard the story, what does it mean? Thumbs. Every presidential candidate in the US since the 50s or 40s was doing that. No, that's not what it means. But we won't understand what it means. But for us, it has a very specific reference to a pastime, a beautiful interaction we've had with our Srila Gurudev. Actually, Sudevi had with Gurudev. And so there's a whole history behind that. And for those who don't know, they won't understand. They can't make heads or tails of what it really means. They can draw so many conclusions from it, but they won't really know what it is. And so our scriptures are like that too. Krishna himself is like that. You can read about him, study about him, but how can you know him? Only through love and affection. As he says directly to Arjuna, Bhaktya tvananyaya sakya aham eve vidorjuna gyatum drashtum chatatvena praveshtum chaparantapa. O Arjuna, only by undivided bhakti, bhakta tvananyaya, without any other. This means pure bhakti. Can you understand me as I am in truth? Only by pure love and affection can we know him in truth. So Srila Prabhupada utilized this in his introduction and why, in his introduction to Bhagavad Gita, and why, not now, we're going to leave you wondering. But some people know what it is. So he used it in his introduction to why he was able to call his version of Bhagavad Gita as it is. He said so many different people have made commentaries and translations of Bhagavad Gita, but most are not actually accurately representing the proper mood of Krishna or Bhagavad Gita, because only by undivided love and devotion can one understand Krishna as he is. That means what Krishna says as well. So who is giving Bhagavad Gita as it is? Bhaktivedānta Thakur, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, our Gurudev, all pure Vaishnavas. Of course, Srila Prabhupada, who is a pure devotee of God, of Krishna. They can see Krishna as he is in truth. They can give Krishna as he is in truth. Therefore, when they present Krishna, it is as it is. When others present Krishna, it's as they think or as they like, but it might not be as he is or as it is. I keep losing my page. So, the Vedas are like this, the scriptures are like this, Bhagavad Gita is like this, all Shastras are like that. You can only understand the Shastra properly how? Mahaprabhu says, Chaitanya Charitamrita states, Jaha Bhagavata Para Vaishnavirasthane. Para means to read. How should you read Śrīmad Bhagavatam? In the association of Vaishnava. What kind of Vaishnava? One who knows and sees Krishna. That is a Tattva-darshi Vaishnava. Then under their guidance, they will reveal Krishna to us. We will read and we will see the surface, but they will see the depth and give us proper understanding. Otherwise, we can come to the wrong conclusions very, very easily. Very easily. It's essential to be under the guidance of Krishna's pure devotees. So, Rasalila is highly confidential and therefore not to be described directly. For this reason, Satyavrata Muni has offered his obeisance to such a pastime just by hinting at them. By this it is clearly understood that it is completely improper to hear and sing Rasalila here and there, wherever and whenever one pleases. It's not Gramya Katha. It is very, very qualified Harikatha. Moreover, if on the pretense of eradicating their lust, unqualified persons contemplate or imitate Rasa Lila, even if only within their minds, they will commit the offense of diminishing its honor and sanctity and will surely become degraded. Then, like the immature Prakrita Sahajas, they will become lusty and attached to sensuous lifestyle. So if on the pretense of eradicating their lust. This word here is important. What does pretense mean? Pretending. Really, they don't have sincerity. They don't have a desire to eradicate their lust. They're not searching for transcendental love and affection for Krishna, but they're using it as an excuse. When we were in Vrindavan Gurukul, we had a code word for playing cards. You know what it was? And we were kids, little kids, 10 years old, 9 years old, 11. So that the teachers wouldn't understand what nonsense we were up to, playing card games, we said, do you want to read Krishna book? That was our code. You want to read Krishna book to play cards. So on the pretext or the pretense, pretending to want to become free from lust, therefore I'm going to read Rasa Lila, but really I just want to contemplate and absorb my mind and all my lustful activities and thought processes, then if one is contemplating these subject matters, it will create an offense of diminishing the honor of that subject and sanctity, and will surely, that person will become degraded. That's why there's some qualification for who is hearing it and for who is speaking it. Who is hearing it should have faith, shraddha, anvito, regard, honor, respect, that this is the highest thing, not just anyone. Then, like the immature Prakrita Sahajas, Prakrita Sahaja means spontaneously mundane. In the pretext of being devotional, they're engaging in all kinds of nefarious nonsense activities. As our Gurudev would say, outside claiming to be Rupanuga, pretending to chant 64, 128, 360 rounds a day, residing even at Radha Kund, but engaging nightly with the widows and parenting so many children with them, and doing all kinds of nonsense activities. All for Kanaka Kamani and Pratishtha, for wealth, for sense gratification, for name and fame, and like this. This is the meaning of Prakrita Sahajya. And also, there's another kind that actually they believe this, that through experience and practicing something like tantric, sensual, yogic practices, by that we will experience the divine love of Radha and Krishna. And there are groups and personalities who believe this and practice it in the name of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This is one of, or many of the different sects who are known as Apasampradaya. Or what do they call them, Sudevi? Sahajiyas, one of the different sects which have come after the time of Mahaprabhu, claiming that this is in the teachings of Mahaprabhu. One of them is Gauranga Nagari. They're claiming that Gauranga is their beloved, and they meditate on having some kind of relationship with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, like they're his gopi, with Gauranga. And this is completely disregarded by, not disregarded, rejected by our Gaudiya Vaishnava Acharyas. So our Param Gurudev is giving very, very strong lessons here. Hare Krishna. In order to determine whether a person who desires to hear and sing Rasa Lila has the proper motive and eligibility, one must carefully study what has been explained at the end of the description of Rasa Lila itself found in Bhagavatam. Naitat samacharij jatu manasapi hyanishvara vinashyatya charan modhyad yata rudro dijam visham. Śrīmad Bhagavatam 10:33-30. Those who are not Ishvaras, means controllers, those who are powerless and helplessly controlled by the laws of karma, should never imitate the Lord's pastimes even within their minds. Like a person who foolishly imitates Lord Shiva by drinking poison generated from the churning of the ocean, they will certainly be destroyed. So imitating it even within one's mind. Whew. There's a massive section of population, even especially in UP, Uttar Pradesh, who presume to conclude that their material attractions and love and all of that kind of thing, their divana, is prem, like Radha and Krishna's. And it's just like almost part of the culture, that our love is like Radha and Krishna's love, even with this mood of imitating. And they might even say, well, they're like that, so why not me? This is frowned heavily upon by our Gaudiya Vaishnava Acharyas. They're taking the highest, most transcendental love and superimposing their mundane ideas on it and imitating it, either physically or within the mind. This is called prakrita sahajya. Therefore, one must be under the guidance of any pure Vaishnava who can help to sever those thought processes from our hearts and minds, so that instead of looking at it as something to imitate or to enjoy, rather we can look at it as something to serve. It's quite dangerous, as you can see by the explanation here. This means that if a person is not truly qualified and competent, he should never contemplate, perform, or imitate Rasalila even within his mind. For example, when the demigods and demons were churning the ocean of milk and poison rose to its surface, only Lord Shiva himself was capable of consuming that poison. Everyone else was burning just by being in the vicinity of it. And they were praying, please help us, we're burning, the entire universe will be destroyed, please help us. Lord Shiva took it, he was going to swallow it, and as he was swallowing it, he thought, Krishna's in my heart, he's so soft, I don't want this to affect him, so he kept it here. And by that it burnt his throat, and he became known as Nilakantha, or blue-throated one. So if an ineligible person pretends to be extremely qualified and hears and sings Rasalila, notice the word pretends, which will act just like poison for him, he will immediately die. Okay. That is, he will surely become entangled in the deadly grip of worldly life. So if one is venturing beyond their adhikar, beyond their qualification, into the more esoteric Rasalila aspects, going deep into all of that stuff, and they're telling it or contemplating it, but not sincere and not under proper guidance, then it will have a very detrimental effect. Therefore, it is always essential to be under guidance. Once we went to someone's house and they were telling us, oh, this one devotee just came through and he was focusing on talking about all of these intimate aspects, and can you speak on these subjects? And we're like, no. And then they told us, oh yeah, he was here with his girlfriend, and they were, we're like, wait, and they were doing all kinds of this and that, and we were like, wait a second, you're hearing these subjects, esoteric, intimate pastime subjects, from someone who can't control their senses? Haven't you heard anything from our acharyas? Haven't you heard those warnings? Be so careful. It's one thing if you hear a little bit like Radhika Premer Guru Ami Shishyanata. Krishna is saying Radhika is my guru of prema and I'm simply her dancing pupil. That's one thing. But the intimate pastimes in the groves of Vrindavan, what's going on in those places, that's not for everyone to speak, and it's not for everyone to hear. It is for sincere persons with honor, with regard, with respect, to hear from the qualified source. That's why we don't speak on these subjects so freely or readily. Because one, no qualification. And two, especially in a public forum, we don't know who's going to come and see. So many nice, sweet devotees are here, but sometimes people come on who are very antagonistic. Then we would also be guilty of the aparad of making this most beautiful, highest, and esoteric subject matter a subject for whimsical disrespect. So it's something that is highly regarded, the most valuable, cherished, and honored thing. It's not just Loy Bazar Katha. It is not Gramya Katha. It is Rasalila Katha. And it should be heard from those who are Rasik and Bhavuk, thoroughly honest, and real lovers of God. Okay. Let me just finish this, it's just very small. So the result of making aparad to that is one's spiritual inclination can be cut. This is the meaning of death. When he said you will surely die, what will happen? Worldly life will increase, kanaka kamani and pratishta, desire for all mundane things, and one's inclination and bhakti will be very, very far away from them. Since Rasalila is the crown jewel of all of Bhagavan's pastimes, the fruit of hearing about it, singing it and remembering it is the crest jewel of all attainments. Therefore, those who are eligible to devotedly honor it, most undoubtedly be the crest jewels of all exalted devotees. Someone who is diseased at heart, who is lusty and unqualified, should not in any way indulge in discussing Rasalila. For example, in order to dispel nescience, it is compulsory to attain complete knowledge by seeking the highest education in university. A kindergarten student, however, will not be allowed admission directly into the highest level of study. Similarly, it is inappropriate to impart the foremost transcendental teaching, the description of Rasalila, to an ignorant person who is attached to gratifying his senses. That's pretty heavy statements. This is really also the teachings of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, and it's reflected within the teachings of all of his disciples. So when they give it in a very qualified way, very dignified way, to make sure that we understand that our pastimes in this material world are absolutely nothing like Krishna's transcendental pastimes. And they give all the qualifications. So, instead, according to the popular adage, Madhurena Samarpayat, all should conclude sweetly, he submits, okay, so we're going back to Satyavrata Muni. He submitted his obeisance to Madhur Ras, through a slight hint, with the words Namo Nanta Lilaya. So slight hint. Slight hint means it's indirect, it's coded, but it's all implied. Srila Gurudev said that's much more beautiful. He said if you say to someone directly, I love you, he said everything is ruined. He said there are so many ways to say it, in beautiful ways. Don't say things directly, you say it in a roundabout way. There are ways to say things, especially transcendental ways, even in the conversations between Krishna and his friends, or Krishna and the gopis, or like that. How they are speaking to each other, it's so variegated. It's very difficult to navigate if you don't understand. One will look at it one way from a basic Aishwarya perspective, and that person who's Rasik and Bhavuk will be able to extract so many different meanings from it. So next, Śrī Satyavrata Muni says, Devaya, I offer my respectful obeisances to the playful divinity, or to he who is supramundane, Shri Bhagavan. Supramundane, beyond it. By mentioning Śrī Dāmodara Krishna's divinity, the sage implies that all of Krishna's pastimes are similarly aprakrit, or transcendental. There's nothing material or mundane about them. Otherwise, since the word deva is derived from div, he who is ever rejoicing in playful sports, the sage says, O Deva, because you are eternally engaged in playful pastimes with Śrī Radhika, I offer my obeisances to you, the performer of unlimited pastimes, Ananta Lila. Here the word Ananta Lila certainly refers to all of Bhagavan's pastimes in Gokul as well. Thus, yet another meaning of the sage's words is illuminated. I offer my respectful obeisance to each and every one of your transcendental pastimes. Thus ends the English rendition of the Digdarshani Tika of the 8th verse. So next time we will start with Srila Gurudev's commentary on the 8th verse. And it is only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pages long. Short. Srila Gurudev ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Rupanuga Guru Varga ki jai, Śrī Dāmodarāṣṭakam ki jai, Śrī Satyavrata Muni ki jai, Śrī Sanātana Gosvāmī Pār ki jai, Param Gurudev Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Gosvāmī Mahārāja ki jai, Gaura Bhaktivinoda ki jai, Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bo. Where can you find such rasik devotees? First you need to learn about their character, about their nature. Then you have to cry and pray to Krishna. Please, Srila Gaura Govinda Maharaj says, send me your own man. Cry to Krishna. That is our business. And his business is to send us the necessary association. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Nitai Gaura Hari Bo, Jai Gurudev, दिक्पालन श्री नित्यानंद प्रभु की जय। प्रेम पुरुषोत्तम सच्चिदानंद गौर हरि की जय। राधा बिहारी की जय। राधा रमण की जय। गिरिराज महाराज हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की जय। गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे So today is the birthday of Kishori Didi, otherwise known here as the one who just posted the flowers. So she's basically assembling the flowers. Please virtually sit in the center of all of the Vaishnavas.
Sorry, I already picked up the camera, so I'm just going to throw flowers from where I am. So,
okay.
But I'm here with you, and I'm also with all the devotees sending so many prayers and wishes.
Your flowers. Devotees are posting flowers to grab, and she's going to sit in the middle. Okay, and we can see that our Srila Gurudev is there also, leading all of us. As he would always say, repeat after me, Mangalam Bhavatu.
Mangalam Bhavatu.
Guru Nishta Bhavatu.
Guru Nishta Bhavatu.
Krishna Bhaktir Bhavatu.
Krishna Bhaktir Bhavatu.
Radha Dasyam Bhavatu.
Radha Dasyam Bhavatu.
Can you do the happy part?
May you be happy in this life. May you be happy in your next life. And then Gurudev would say, may you be happy into perfection forever. Radhe Radhe. Jai.
Happy birthday.
Happy blessed birthday. Thank you so much for all of your encouragement and all of your support and kindness. Since the day we met you in Belgium, you've always been pushing us and even, making me crawl out of my safety net. So thank you for always helping to encourage us and inspire us in Guru Seva Keshav Priya.
And your birth is glorious because through the human form, and only through the human form can you endeavor for perfection. So may this birthday give you so much inspiration, so much spiritual juice, power to run as fast as you can on the path of bhakti in this life. Jai Kishori Didi ki
Jai.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Didi. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe. So, I'd like to thank all of you for giving us the opportunity to remember the beautiful and powerful teachings of our Gurudev and Guru Varga. Also, I'd like to express our indebtedness to each and every one of you for daily giving us the opportunity to follow the order of our Gurudev, which is our life and soul. We look forward to being with all of you tomorrow. Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Radhe Radhe.
Radha Vinobi Hariju Sachinandan Gaura Hari
Ki Jai. Dandavat Pranam. Śrī Astamanyana. Kal milenge. Jai Jai Shri Radhe Shyam.